Thank you, Ahmed. So thank you everybody for having me and for joining this session. You have already seen my name on screen, Hamid Khan. That's my name, and at the moment I'm located in South Korea, the city called Songdo, 35 kilometers from Seoul, the capital of the country. I'm teaching here in the University of Utah, Asia campus. Before coming to South Korea, last August I was in Qatar for a year, and before that I was in Kyrgyzstan for almost 8 years. And before coming to Kyrgyzstan, I was in Saudi Arabia, so that's sort of like international career or exposure that I have. I'm very thankful to KAAJ Education, if I'm remembering the name correctly, for inviting me. It's a great pleasure to contribute to their mission and their cause, education. That is what they are doing. It's great, and I'm happy that these resilient and brave youngsters are doing something great for their people and for those who do not have the kind of opportunities that they are having. So thank you very much for all this, Ahmad and team, KAAJ team, and thank you for joining this session. So if you could confirm to me that you can see my presentation, like the PowerPoint slides. Yeah, so we'll be together for an hour, and this is a series of 4 sessions. So on day 1 today, we will be talking about some fundamentals which apply and which are relevant to all kind of writing. So I'll be talking about what do we mean by general writing skills, what writing actually is, and then I'll end the session with talking about essential components of an essay. Then on day 2, we will continue from where we left today, that is talking more about essay, what makes an essay, how can we write a good essay. That will be day 2. And then day 3, we talk about personal statement, how to write a good personal statement, or a motivational letter. That will be day 4. So this is the kind of plan, the roadmap for the next 4 sessions. And by the end of all these sessions, this is what I hope you should achieve. That is understanding writing as a recursive process. Recursive means you do not do it once. You repeat what you do, and it is sort of like if you started from point A, you come back to point A and then you restart again. So writing is not in a linear process in which you move from point A to point B to point C and point D. It is a recursive. You go to point D and then you can come back to point A. That's what I mean by recursive process. Then we will also analyze writing situations in terms of purpose, audience, genre, context, and expectations. Develop a focused thesis or controlling idea. We will talk about distinguishing between claim, evidence, explanation, and reflection. Construct coherent paragraphs and understand genre as a set of flexible expectations. Select experiences strategically for personal statement if you're sending it to a university. Transform personal experience into evidence of qualities, development, and potential. So you're telling about yourself, but then how can you convince somebody to take them as an evidence of what you are and feel convinced about that. So we will also be talking about those things. And then finally, analyze institutional opportunities like universities, what do they want, and how you can tell them that you are a good fit for that. And then how to revise your writing, and what do we mean by revision? Is it just grammar, vocabulary, punctuation, or something more? So that's what we are going to do, are going to focus on and target in the coming 4 sessions, today's included, 3 more. So I'm starting with these 2 questions, apparently simple, straightforward, basic questions, but if you think of them, they're really deep, right? They relate to writing, and if we take them for granted, and we believe, and I'm sure you also believe, we know the answers, but maybe not the kind of answers which are relevant in this context. So either you can turn on your mic and speak if you want to respond, or you can respond in chat. And I'm giving you a few minutes. So what is writing and what is actually happening when you are writing? So think about it, think about yourself, think about your writing experiences, and respond either in chat, as I said, or you can turn on your mic and speak.
Sure. Thank you so much. First of all, hello everybody. I hope you are doing well. Writing, in my idea, in my own idea, is that something that is passing in our mind, showing those things or showing those uh, words in piece of paper is writing. In academic, it is different, but in general, I think uh, in our what is happening or what is happening in our mind, if you wanna show in the piece of paper, that's writing.
Sure.
And generally, if I was writing is the best way to inform and convert our knowledge and our demand with
Okay.
other people as teacher.
Okay. Great. Thank you, Shakila. Mahroya?
First of all, hello and hello to everyone and greetings, especially to you, Mr. Hamid. About the first question, I have to say that what is writing? So, writing is a process that we are somehow, with using some symbols, digitals, punctuations, and also letters, characters, we are somehow encoding into spoken language. So, we also could convey our thoughts, ideas into a readable format. So, it is the writing. And for the second question, which is what is actually happening when we are writing? So, writing is a translating our internal thoughts into visible symbols, like whatever comes to in our minds, we could write it down in a piece of paper so everyone could read it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Nazma?
In the name of Allah, first of all, hello everybody, especially for Mr. Hamid Khan, and nice to meet you. We're so glad to have you with us. In my opinion, writing is putting our thoughts on paper and expressing them in words. Just this.
Okay. Thank you. Great. Then we have Maseha.
Yeah, so writing is basically putting your thoughts, information, or something else into words. It can be different types. It can be informative, creative, or story writing. And also, what's happening in writing is we are thinking and we are putting our thoughts into words. We are choosing different types of words. We are organizing our writings. And it really depends on the type of writing we are doing.
Okay. Good. Najma?
Hello, everyone, and first of all, thank you, Mr. Hamid Khan, for giving us your opportunity and time so we can grow. So, in my opinion, writing is a way that we can share our thoughts, ideas, and emotion through letters, symbol, and words. In addition, writing is a way that while we're writing, there is a connection between our mind and hands, and I think it's really make our creativity increase a lot. And additionally, writing is one of the best way, in my opinion, that we can like learn and learn new things and find good words. Thank you.
Okay. Great. Zinat, last answer, then I give you my input. Yes, Zinat.
Sure, sir. First of all, greetings to you, Professor, and everyone. So, in my opinion, writing can be like a language. Sometimes we can put our thoughts, as my classmate said, that we can put our thoughts, and also we can put our feelings on the writing. So it can be very important. Yeah, that's all about. Thank you.
Okay, great. So if I have to summarize what you said, those who spoke, and also what's in chat. So writing is a sort of like it's a code of symbols that we use to make our thoughts visible to others, right? Or to give our thoughts a sort of presentational or representational form. Uh, we write. That is what writing is. That is the first answer. Then communication. It is also communication. And some of you mentioned it is learning, right? So that is great. So writing is, yes, one of these things where we give a visible form to what is in our mind, but at times it should also be a form of inquiry, a form of exploring our thoughts, because when you say writing is putting our thoughts on paper so others can see it, it means we are looking at writing as a product. So the thoughts are there, and the product should be the writing so others can see it or others can take it from us. But that's probably the half representation of writing. That's not what writing is. At times, writing is a starting point. We have no thoughts, we have no ideas, but when we start writing, then we produce or develop thoughts and ideas. So you are not wrong, but if we take writing that way, the way you described it, that is thoughts on paper, right? Then we are looking at it as the end point. And then we are losing an important opportunity of having writing as a starting point. At times, if somebody asks me, okay, what do you think about this topic, or what do you think about this issue, or what do you think about this idea? Maybe I have no thoughts. Maybe I don't know anything, or maybe I never did that idea, that thought never occurred to me. So when I start writing, then I can see my own thought to myself, or my thoughts start sort of developing. So it can be a starting point, and take it as a starting point. If you do it as a starting point, not as an end point, you will find that things are different now for you. Your cognitive abilities are much more stronger than they were before. So that is one thing. Now, coming to question number 2, what is actually happening when we are writing? And this happening can be something which is happening to us physically, something which is happening to us cognitively. Yes, Nazma.
So when we actually writing, uh, actually we connect our thought with the words to make it visible for others.
Okay, good. Najma.
Yes, sir. As I said, while writing, the connection between our minds and hands become unbreakable, which leads to increase in productivity and creativity.
Okay, great. Then we go to Anisa and Ansia.
Okay, sure. So, and my idea, I think when we're writing, uh, for example, we're thinking deeply and we are like organizing our thoughts and sharing them.
Right. Okay. Good. Go Arshad.
Hello, sir. Okay, in my opinion, when we write, we first think about the topic, then we organize our ideas and express them using words and sentences. And also, writing help us clearly share our thoughts and feelings with others.
Right. Zahra. Good. Thank you. Go Arshad.
Hello, sir. I hope you're doing well. In my view, when we are writing, actually we think, we activate our brain, we think about something, what to write, and also we remember words, and also we make sentences when we write.
Okay, great. Next is Zinat.
Yes, sir. So while we're writing something, so it can be anything, it helps us to, as my classmate said that, it helps us to think a lot. So it would be a kind of brain exercise. So whenever you have a brain exercise, so your brain will be work hard and also work a lot actually, and then so you will be a creative person at the same time a healthy person.
Uranus.
First of all, good evening. It's pleasure to meet you, Amit Khan. I hope fine, doing well. About what is actually happening when we are writing. If we write something else on the papers, we will know about the vocabularies, about the grammars, and something else. So writing it is in simply putting words on paper is translations pieces, and we can or we take some thoughts and institutions that exist in our minds and turn them into symbols that another person can interrupt or something else that can be very important on their writings. And also we monitor ourselves as well while writing. We rewrite or mentally evaluate what we have produced and adjust it. And that's it. Thank you. I hope understand better. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Nastaran. I think due to some reasons we can't hear her. So Arifa.
First of all, hello and good evening, everyone. About this question, I want to say that when we write, when we are writing, it is what is happening actually. Writing is the process of turning our thoughts and our opinions into words and sentences. And I think when we write, we decide what to say, and we put our ideas into a logical order, and sometimes we select the right vocabulary and grammar when we want to, for example, write something, and we turn our thoughts into sentences, and we read what we wrote, the correct mistakes, and these are the things that when we write
Okay.
happen.
So I have to stop taking all answers. All answers obviously are not possible due to time factor. But thank you very much, those who still have your hands up. Maybe for the next question, I'll start with you, right? So sorry about that. Okay, yes, writing, it's a complex process. And I think it's not easier to tell or to summarize what happens when we are writing. Many things are happening cognitively, physically, psychologically, and linguistically, right? So you'll get the answer after a while. Like I'll be presenting a pyramid in which you will see what happens when we are writing and what we are taking care of. But basically, if we take the process of writing at a surface level, so when we are writing, fundamentally, and as I said, at a superficial level, it's a decision-making process. We are making certain decisions throughout the process. Now, what do we make these decisions about? I leave it for a later slide, right? So you will see where we make these decisions. But at this time, and for our purpose of these 4 sessions, remember what happens when we are writing. We are making decisions, right? And wait for the explanation of what decisions we make and why we make them. Okay. So now we established that writing is communication, writing is an expression of our thoughts, writing is an expression of our ideas. And I said, like, it shouldn't be the end product, it should be the starting point also, right? So if we have no ideas about some things, we have no thoughts, we don't know what to say, we don't know what to communicate, we should start writing. And as we write, we develop, that is an opportunity, that is a process to develop our thoughts, to develop our position, to develop our views on a topic, to know about the topic even. If we didn't know about it, to know about that topic. So once we start writing, we discover aspects of that topic. We discover angles of that topic which we never thought of or which we were not aware of before. All right. So now, if we take these answers, so my next question will be, what makes writing good? So you got 6 statements, and I would like you to choose 2 which matter most to you, or which you think are the most important statements regarding what makes good writing. So put your numbers in chat. If you, for example, if you think statement number 1 and 2 are the most important statements about what makes writing good, put them in chat.
Well, sir, about this question, in my perspective, I think whenever we're starting writing, so it should be in a correct grammar, and beside that, it should be good writing and organized way. I mean, looking for.
Okay. Okay. Yes, Najma and Fatima, I'll just take your answers and then I'll move. Yes, Najma and Fatima.
So, sir, among these options, I choose 1, 3, 4, and 6. But if I choose two options which matter the most, I choose good writing, which has a correct grammar, and writing who is well organized. As we learned a lot of essay, having a well organized essay was the most important. Important things for us, and additionally, good correct grammar is also important.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Fatima.
Yes, exactly. As my classmates mentioned, the 2 most important that aspect of good writing would be well organized and achieve its purpose. They're
Yes.
both, yeah.
Okay, yes. So I would also, for me, the most important one is it achieves its purpose. If you have written it for a purpose, that purpose, if it serves that purpose, then it is good writing. It might have other qualities, but if it is not achieving its purpose, then it's not good writing. And the second one, it's well organized. So for me, my opinion and my perspective, and also what I know about writing, being a teacher of writing and rhetoric here in the university, so we always tell our students, write with a purpose and make sure that your writing achieves that purpose, and then it is well organized. If any of these 2 things are missing, so even if it is good grammatically, even if it uses a lot of difficult vocabulary, even if it has interesting ideas, and even if it has a lot of evidence, if it's not achieving its purpose, all these become useless, right? And in a while, I'll be explaining why. Okay, so 6 and then 4 are the most important uh, uh, like characteristics of writing. So next, then, as I said, I'll prove it through an example, right? What is good writing? So just give me a moment. Okay, so here you can see an example, right? You got example number 1, and you got example number 2. And again, using chat, vote for a good example? Which one is a good one? Not a bad one, but my question is, which one of these two is a good example or a good essay? Okay, good. Now I'll take only one response, and response to the question, why, one of you please explain why you think number two is a good example. So the first hand that went up is Wahida. So I'll just take response from Wahida. Sorry about others. Because of time, I cannot take all responses. So Wahida, why you think number two? If you think number two is a good example, what's your reason? Please share with us your reason.
Okay, Professor. So I think option two is the best option. It's better because it communicates its message clearly. Although it's shorter and it may use some ordinary words and vocabulary, but we get the point. Option one is very complicated. It's not easy even for those who are professionals to understand what's the message of. They have to think twice because the words are. It's loaded with words, with complicated vocabulary, in my point of view.
So the first one, despite its sophistication and complexity of vocabulary, it doesn't achieve the purpose. What is the purpose? You said writing is expression of thoughts, expression of ideas. It doesn't express anything. And through this expression of ideas and thoughts, we communicate with our readers. The first one fails to communicate. Whether it is sophistication, whether it is complexity of vocabulary, or it is lacking an idea, anything, but it fails to communicate. So it doesn't achieve or it doesn't serve the purpose of communication. It doesn't tell the reader anything. Whereas the second one, despite its simplicity of vocabulary, it achieves its purpose. The reader can relate. The reader can understand what it's trying to say. And if you think of the first one, there is no idea, no concrete idea. It's very abstract. It's a very common thing said in a very complicated vocabulary, complex vocabulary, or difficult vocabulary. Whereas the second one, there is an idea. An idea expressed in simple words, but there is a thought, there is an idea. So now if I take you back to the previous slide, you might now agree that if 6 and 4 are not there, right, then correct grammar is meaningless, difficult vocabulary is meaningless, right? But if there's an interesting idea, then it might be good writing. If it is organized, it might be good writing, right? If it tells the reader something, it might be good writing. And if it achieves its purpose, that is above everything. So number one fails to do that, right? So now, if we have to summarize all this and we have to say what is writing, so writing is more than correct English. And as you can see, read my slides yourself. So writing is not simply putting ideas that already exist in our heads into correct English. Writing is a process. That's why the first learning outcome used the word recursive. It didn't say it's a linear process. It said it's recursive. We complete it, we go back, we restart it. Right? So in the process of writing, and this also gives us answer to question number 2, what happens when we are writing? And I said, fundamentally, it's a decision-making process. So through this decision-making process, we develop ideas. Sometimes we test our ideas. So if I need to write something about education, I might have great ideas in my brain, But the actual worth of these ideas is revealed once I start putting them on paper. How do they look on paper? How do they sound to me, my own ideas, my own writing as a reader? Then I start seeing problems, all kind of problems, linguistic problems, problems of thoughts or ideas. Are these good ideas? Do they make sense? They don't make sense. They relate to each other or not? So I start seeing all that. I can also see organization, the organizational pattern emerging from the writing. It can be within the paragraphs, it can be across the paragraphs, it can be across the whole piece of writing that I'm doing. I might take a sentence from here, take it there, because it doesn't make sense if it is here, but if I take it to the 2 sentences back, then it might make more sense, right? So in this process, I discover the problems or strengths of organization. Then I can also see its communicational strength. Will it makes any kind of sense to my reader? Am I communicating what I intend to communicate, or what I the the purpose for which I'm doing this writing, right? And then it's also something where I can start revising, right? And we do all this for ideas for particular readers, purposes, and contexts. And I'll explain what is meant by readers, purposes, and context, right? So the bottom line is strong writing does not mean a native like English. Again, I'll take you back a slide to show you those 2 examples, right? So this one is very like somebody who is very strong in English. This one is somebody like you and me, who is not a native speaker of English, who knows basic English or who can communicate using the most common English, which everybody can understand. But this one makes more sense and appeals more than the first one, right? So it doesn't mean native like or native kind of English, native speakers or sophisticated vocabulary, right? It just means that it serves the purpose of the reader and the context. Okay. And then writing is not just a representation of my thought in written form. It is, as I said, and I'm repeating these things so they stick to your mind, it is developing, right, new ideas. If I haven't thought about something, or I mean, what happens to me when I'm thinking, I have a lot of thoughts, and then I think, oh, I can sit and I can write them, no problem. I have a whole page of my essay already ready. But when I start putting them on paper, then I discover, no, that idea was not very good. That idea was very flawed. That idea was very shallow. Idea number 1 doesn't connect to idea number 3. Idea number 3, I don't have evidence for that. I won't be able to justify it or support it. So I start seeing all these problems the moment I start writing. So writing gives me an opportunity, or it provided me an opportunity to develop and then test my ideas. Right? So now, by now, you should be able to see that writing is not merely putting words on papers or sentences on papers. It's a process, and it's much more than this simple understanding of paper and right. So this is writing, but this writing is the end of this whole process that you can see on my slide. Okay, so moving to the next slide. Yeah, so the next slide connects to the same idea of what is writing, right? And what happens when we are writing. So it is still connected to that question number 2. And what happens when we write. Okay. So different levels for you to understand and remember, I put them on at different levels. Okay. So when we are writing, at level 1, obviously, we need words, right? We need to be aware of the spellings, punctuation, typing, and formatting. That is foundational level. That is the basic level. Okay. Then level 2, how these words connect to each other to form sentences, right? How these sentences represent my voice or my tone and register. Am I formal or informal? Is the sentence worth sending to my professor, or it's good for a Facebook chat, right? So tone and register. Then sentences combine and become paragraphs. I move to the discourse level. The paragraphs combine and make an essay or something else. That is the discourse level. Right? Then level 4, organization and coherence. How my sentence number 1 is linked to sentence number 2, and sentence number 2 is linked to sentence number 3. Am I able to show the relationship of all 3 sentences to my reader or not? Because many a times, especially for students who come from a grammar translation method background, where classrooms are grammar heavy, and most of the time the teaching in the classrooms of English language is only teaching grammar, what happens to them when they write? Their writing is like bricks, right? And I give example I mean, if you think of a mound of bricks, there are different bricks, a lot of bricks lying there. Somebody brought a truck full of bricks and just emptied it. Right? You might have seen it many times. So these bricks are there, maybe 1,000, maybe 500, maybe 300, but they're useless. They're individual pieces. They have no connection to each other. But when you start putting these bricks using cement or some other thing like mud and start making a wall, they start forming some kind of connection to each other. Then one brick adds a meaning to the other brick, right? And all bricks together make a very symmetrical wall on which we can put something, and that they will sustain it. If it is a concrete roof, right, they will sustain it and they will support it. So that is level 5, 4 and 5, organization and coherence. If your sentences are not connected to each other linguistically and idea-wise, and then these sentences, they form a paragraph, and these paragraphs are not connected to each other, then they are like that mound of bricks, useless. Okay. So that's why, again, if you go back to those 6 statements, so after purpose, organization is the most important thing. Because if you are able to achieve organization in your writing, correct organization and coherence, right, then you are conveying meaning to your reader. You are making your reader writing meaningful for your reader. But if that organization is missing, that coherence is missing, then it is meaningless. It doesn't mean anything to the reader. Okay. So level 5, developing and connecting ideas. Level 6 is general knowledge. So general knowledge is different types of writing have different types of expectations. If I'm writing an essay, the expectations are different. And if I'm writing a short story, the expectations are different because these are 2 different genres. If I'm writing an essay for my assignment for my professor, that is a different genre. But if I'm writing an essay for public to get it published in a newspaper so people can read it, that is a different genre. Then rhetorical situation. And unfortunately, our English language classrooms, they don't talk about rhetorical situation. Whenever we are writing something, the starting point or the first thing I would ask, if I am asked to write something, I'll say why I'm writing it. What's my purpose? Who's going to read it? And in what situation? So that is rhetorical situation, what we call rhetorical. And based on this rhetorical situation, then we make rhetorical decisions. And that's what aligns our writing to our readers. So somebody asked me write an essay. Okay, for what? For newspaper? For exam? To convince somebody about something? To raise my voice on an issue? All of them will mean my approach to writing that essay is different. It's the same thing, it's an essay. But rhetorical situation will change my choice of words, my choice of sentences, my decisions about organizing that essay, right? My decisions about the kind of evidence, the kind of reasoning that I'm using in that essay. So rhetorical situation will determine all these factors. And then obviously metacognitive and monitoring is level 8. That is what goes in our brain when we are writing. We are thinking of words. Is this the right word? Is that the wrong word? Will it fit here? Will it say what I want to say? Sometimes we use dictionary. Sometimes we use translators. And these days we use ChatGPT, right? So all that is what's going on here when we are taking this, making these decisions, these different decisions to these 7 levels. Right. So these are some of the things that happen to us when we are writing. And they do not happen in a linear process. So it's not that we move from level 1, and after we have completed level 1, we move to level 2, and after we have completed level 2, we move to level 3. No. Depending on your level of language, and at your level and at my level, all these things happen simultaneously in different sequences. Sometimes we start with level 8 decisions and move to level 1. Sometimes we start with level 3 and move to level 8. So it's not linear as stage as it is in this pyramid. So I'll take a pause here and I'll ask you to invite you if you have any questions about this slide or any questions so far, please ask them before I move further in this lecture of ours. Just 1 or 2 questions because of time again. Yes, Nazma?
Sir, I don't know, did you mention this in your recently speech because your voice was breaking down for me? So is it mandatory to start from level 1 up to level 8?
As I said, it doesn't happen in a sequence. Maybe you start with level 8, and based on a decision that you make at level 8, you select your level 1 spellings of a word. Simple example. If I tell you that your readers are American people, right? And then you need to write the spellings of, let's say, something school, for example. So this will determine this knowledge of who your readers are. You may choose the American spellings, right?
Okay, sir, I got it. Thank you.
In my case, for example, I used to say schedule because we in Pakistan are under British English influence, and all my education is in UK. So all my life I used to say schedule. But when I came here, this is an American university, and everyone is, every second person is American. So then I changed myself, and now I say schedule, because when I say schedule, people look strange at me and they don't understand what I'm talking about. But when I say schedule, then they understand. Right? So level 7 knowledge and level 8 knowledge decisions made me change something in level 1. So it's not sequential, right? That is, I hope you got the answer. Yes. So there's one more question in chat, sir. How do I organize a writing code? Right. So organization depends on different kind of writing. Each kind of writing genre or type of writing will need a different organizational or a different structure. You're writing a short story, you cannot use the same kind of structure or organizational patterns that you do in an essay. Short story has its own organizational structure, right? So there's no simple answer to this, or no one answer to this. It depends on what you are writing. What genre are you following, right? So each genre will have its own organizational principles. Okay. All right. Test yourself. Here's a little bit of test. If you haven't done before, so please take a picture. If you have your mobile phones with camera, please take a picture of this pyramid. And then I'm giving you 2 minutes to tell which stage these different phases relate to. The stage of pyramid, or the levels of pyramid, these different stages relate to. For example, if you are thinking how important, so which level of pyramid this belongs to. Okay, and just look, pay attention to the bottom line. Writing is decision making. You think, you choose, you communicate, putting it on paper, and then you revise. Okay, so that is now. For all this, I mentioned important element of rhetorical situation. So for rhetorical situation, I'm giving you a framework, right? That is page com. Remember it. I just noted page com so you can remember it easily. So what is P? P stands for purpose. Whenever you are given or you have something to write, start with and think, what is my purpose? Why am I writing this? Right? And that purpose will determine how and what you write. Audience, who will read this? Is it going to be my professor? Is it going to be some admission officer in a university? Is it going to be somebody on Facebook? So who are my audience, right? And then G stands for genre. What kind of text am I writing? Is it a short story? Is it an essay? Is it just a letter? Or is it a post? So what is the genre? Is it for some newspaper, right? So different genres have different approaches to writing. They have different conventions, what we call conventions of writing. Okay. And then co stands for context. So in which context? Writing for exam is a context. It's a situation is different. Okay. Writing for just in the as an assignment for which you are given a month to go do research and then come back with your essay. that's a different context. Okay. Then message, so what I want to my reader to understand, believe, and feel or do. Right. So all kind of writing, they have a purpose, they have an audience, somebody is going to read them, they belong to a certain type of writing, right? They are read or written in a particular context or in a particular situation, and they have a message to convey, to communicate. So whenever we are doing writing, we need to remember these elements, these factors, right? So bottom line, good writers don't just ask, what should I write? They first ask, what is this writing situation asking me to do? Okay. So if the essay is for a classroom test, it is a different rhetorical situation. It is different page count elements. If the essay is for a university and it is going to be attached to your application for admission, then the page count for that essay is different. The same essay will change its shape, or maybe its message, or maybe its vocabulary, right? So depends on what is the page count or what is the rhetorical situation. Okay, example here. So yeah, look at this slide, and I leave it for you to read, right? So same topic, different writing. Okay, page count or rhetorical situation. So the topic is my education, right? It is an essay. And how does access to education affect young people's opportunities? So purpose, why am I writing? Audience, who will read this? Genre, what kind of text am I writing? Context is what situation has produced this writing, and message, what do I want this reader to understand, believe, feel, or do? Okay. And the same topic, if you are putting it in your personal statement, now the page count or the rhetorical situation is different. You're talking about your education, the topic, the broader topic is the same, but because of change in page count or rhetorical situation, many things will change. Your approach to writing the same topic will change. If it is not changing, then you are not achieving your purpose. The same topic, if it goes and if it becomes a part of your motivation letter, so again, you need to adjust it. You need to change your approach to writing that. And at the bottom, the question for you is, what did you notice? Which page count elements change the most? So I leave it for you to think about this question and do some brainstorming. The same topic, if you are putting it in 3 different places, in 3 different rhetorical situations, what's going to change there, right? So maybe next session you can tell me answer to this question. Okay. Now, because of time, as I said, we have to rush. Okay. Yeah, also take a screenshot of this slide and use it for some practice. Okay, so now we move to the second part, preparation for the next session. What is an essay? And the first hand is going to answer what is an essay, but not, if other people also want to, I'll not take a lot of answers, I'll take just one answer. So what do you think? What is an essay? Any of you? Yes, Siddika was the first one to go up. So Siddika.
Yeah. Well, as far as I know, an essay is a piece of writing which is focused on one main topic. And it includes several paragraphs, like introduction, body paragraphs, and conclusion.
Good.
And in turn, our introduction is divided to parts.
Yeah, that's correct, and that's the most commonly understood idea, concept of essay. right? But an essay is an extended attempt. Again, I'm changing here from the traditional concept to develop and communicate. Remember, it is develop. So when you are writing, you are developing. Writing is not the end, it is the beginning, right? So it can be the starting point to write an essay. Writing can be the starting point to write an essay. Okay, so to develop and communicate a central idea or interpretation of something, or your position about something, or your response to something, right? So what it means, this definition of mine or this definition of essay, it means essay can have more than one function. If you are communicating a central idea, maybe I didn't know about that topic, and you are trying to tell me about that topic. You are trying to inform me. Your interpretation of something, we understand things differently. Different people look at things differently. They all have their different angles. So maybe you are trying to now write on that topic from your angle, which is unique, which is different. Your perspective is different from others. It is individual, it is unique, right? We have positions, we have our own positions on certain issues. Right? For example, education at the moment, female education in Afghanistan. We have our own feelings, individual feelings, and we have our own individual position on that issue. You want to express your position on this issue. That is, so sometimes you write an essay to express that position. Response. If there's a problem, there's something, some issue boiling, and you want to respond to that, right? What we should do, environment, for example, and what it's doing to us. So if you want to write your response, you can do that. Okay. So central idea, there's a central idea. Yes, you develop it, and then as you're writing and you have developed your ideas, you organize it, then you communicate to others, and if and in this communication, in the process of communication, you are responding to the theatrical situation because you are already aware who are your audience, what is the purpose of your essay, okay, and what is the context where people are going to read that essay. So you're responding to all these three elements of rhetorical situation. So an essay is more than writing, it is thinking, developing, and communicating your ideas clearly and effectively. Traditional essays or conventional essays are 5 paragraphs. They have introduction, then 3 body paragraphs, and then conclusion. There's a structure, everything is controlled by the controlling idea, and we call that controlling idea thesis, right? So thesis is presented in the introductory paragraph, and then the rest of the essay flows from this thesis and is controlled by the thesis, all right? So that is traditional. But then there are essays which do not follow the traditional structure. Longer essays, for example, right? If you're writing 3,000 words essay, so obviously you will have a lot of paragraphs there. Maybe you have different parts of your essay because 3,000 is a very long essay. It cannot be written in 5 paragraphs. If you reach your master's or if you're writing the dissertation of your bachelor studies, so your dissertation is in a way an extended essay. It has different chapters, right? So then we need not to stick to this one, but at an elementary level, up to a certain stage, we are expected to write 5 paragraphs on a topic, okay? So each part has its own purpose and its own function. So introduction, orient the reader. It tells them where you want to take them, right? What's your angle? Then the thesis controls the whole essay. the 3 body paragraphs are basically controlled by the thesis. Development, you develop these paragraphs and you develop the ideas in the thesis in the body paragraphs. That is development, right? And the purpose of development is to present reasons to the reader to accept what you are writing, or to believe in what you are telling them, or to agree with you. Okay. And then conclusion. So you close, and at the same time you lead your reader to think about something, right? So that is the main functions and parts. Then thesis is the claim, your main claim, or your position on the topic, and you develop it in your essay. So your thesis, structure-wise, I'll come to the structure later on, but first look at thesis A and tell me, is it good or bad? Is it a good thesis or it's not a good thesis? Yes, Najma?
I think it is not good thesis because thesis is the last step of essay introduction. As teacher Ahmad said in an introduction, we come from general to specific. In our thesis here is very general.
Yes, good. It's very broad. And
Yes,
it's not
sir.
definition, right? Online learning is
Yeah.
very important nowadays. Everybody says that. So what's the big deal if I'm saying it? The question is, so what, right? Online learning is very
Yeah,
important. So what? Okay. So number one, it's broad. Number two, it's very general and superficial. It doesn't present my position. Okay. So that is the problem with A. What about B? If I ask you to change B into a good thesis statement, so not just Najma, but the whole class, everybody, what would you do to change it into a good thesis statement?
So, teacher, I think we should it says that universities should offer online learning because, and here we should write some advantages of online learning, like it is easy to access and it saves a lot of time. And then in our body paragraph, we should explain why it is easy to access and why it saves time.
Yes, so this thesis, we cannot develop it. That is the problem. Universities should offer online learning. You finish the matter. Now what, right? We cannot argue about it. We cannot debate it. So to debate it or to develop it into or to open it, we should say because, and after because, we should give some reasons, at least 3 reasons. Okay? So there is a position, but the reasons are missing for that position in this thesis. Okay, and thesis C is this one. This is a good example. So it has a position, it has reasons, and it also has significance of the topic. Okay. Bottom line, right? The first one is general. The second one lacks. There is a position, but there are no reasons. The third one has a position, it has reasons, and it has significance also. Okay. So to wind up, I don't know if you know about reverse planning or not. Maybe next session we talk about it because we are already 10 minutes over the time. And some students probably are asking about why is it taking long. So some of the takeaways for today's lesson. So good writing is good thinking made visible. Okay. Clear beats complicated. So you need not to be complicated in your vocabulary and your sentences. You need to be clear. Then big words don't make big ideas. Grammar matters, but meaning matters more than grammar. Writing is a process, not a product. Sometimes it's a starting point of your writing, right? You don't know what to write, you have no ideas, and you start writing and then you develop ideas, right? It is decision making, rhetorical situation, then it tells you about thesis and all these things. So we will continue from here. And as I said, I'll share this with Ahmad in a moment. I hope he shares it with you. And then if you have questions, maybe next session, beginning 10 minutes, we can have some questions about if you have anything to ask on these slides. And now, or maybe 10 minutes, I can stay. And if you have questions or anything, please go ahead and ask.
Teacher, you explained very well, and there is no question left for us.
Okay,
Thank you
so
for your
pretty much all the
presentation.
best. I'll see you in next session when it is scheduled by Ahmad. It's up to him. So thank you and see you guys. All the best. If you have any suggestions, anything, share it them with Ahmad and he will convey them to me.
Sorry, sir. Will
Yes.
you share the slides in the Google Classroom?
Now I'm going to send him to Ahmad in his WhatsApp, and he will share it with you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, all the best then. Take care.
Goodbye, sir. Take care of yourselves.
Goodbye, sir. Have a great time.
Bye.
Goodbye, sir.